Hello, how are you? Today I brought an amazing recipe for you who want to lose weight, for you who are on a low-carb diet, for you who want to control your blood sugar. This recipe works really well as an afternoon snack, as an evening appetizer, but it's so versatile that it also fits perfectly as lunch or dinner, as part of your daily routine. It's going to be a hit. It's super easy to make, turns out really tasty, and the ingredients are very inexpensive. You're going to love it. Stay until the end because you won't want to miss it. Besides that, our recipe doesn't contain eggs, so it can be a good option for those who are allergic, and it doesn't have any kind of flour. It's gluten-free. Take advantage of this. If you're new here, welcome. Subscribe to the channel and remember to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss anything. I post new videos every day and you're going to love them. Let's get started. It's super easy to make. Remember, you'll find all the ingredients with the exact quantities so you can make this at home, as well as the nutritional information all down below in the description. So the first ingredient I have here is my already cooked chicken. I just cooked the chicken in water and salt. And after I put the chicken in this bowl here, this is chicken breast, but you can actually use any part of the chicken. Remember, I have a video here on the channel where I talk more about the differences between thigh, drumstick, wing, breast. I'll leave the link down below. Because some people think you can only use chicken breast in recipes, that it's the only healthy part, but that's not really the case. Take a look at the video I'll leave for you. So I cooked it thoroughly and then I gently dried it with a paper towel just to make sure it wouldn't be too wet. This is important for our recipe. So all you have to do is this, and we're going to blend it until it turns into something like chicken flour, until it becomes a powder. If you don't have a food processor, you can use a blender, but pulse it and stir it little by little with a spoon. Always close the lid and make sure to turn it off before putting the spoon in, so you don't hurt yourself, until it turns into something like a flour from this chicken. So I'm going to do this here, and when it's ready, I'll come back. Hold on. If you love these low-carb recipes, great for weight loss, for an afternoon snack or appetizer, go ahead and leave your like and tell me if you usually snack on the weekend, on a Friday night, or if you have dinner, how your routine is, if it changes on the weekend. Let me know down here in the comments. Let's blend it. Look, so it turned out more or less, like I said, into a flour from the cooked chicken. That's why we're not going to use any flour, no wheat flour, no low-carb flour. It's just the chicken itself. So I'm going to add the chicken here to my mozzarella. This mozzarella was shredded and I softened it a bit in the microwave. It didn't actually melt, it just got a little bit warmer because we're going to mix the chicken right into the mozzarella cheese. If you need to, during this process as we mix, you can put it back in the microwave for about 30 seconds so everything becomes really homogeneous. If you don't have a microwave, you can do this using a double boiler. Just place a pot of boiling water underneath the bowl to melt the mozzarella a bit and start mixing it together just like I'm doing here. The heat from your hands will also help blend everything together. I'm going to give it a good mix until it becomes more homogeneous, and I'll be right back. Hold on. Look, just so you understand how it reached this consistency, I actually put it back in the microwave for another 30 seconds to heat it up and then kept mixing it by hand. So it's really easy. Just do this and you'll get the same consistency. Now we need to roll out our dough. I grabbed a cutter here so everything will be about the size of an empanada, and I'm going to carefully line it with parchment paper so we don't have to use flour or anything like that. So look, we take an amount here. I'm not sure if it'll be more or less than this. Let me just bring it all together here. I'm just going to grab my rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, you can use an olive oil bottle you already have at home, or really anything cylindrical, such as a wine bottle or even a sturdy glass, to help roll out the dough and make it thinner. Rolling the dough thinner is important because it helps achieve the right texture and ensures even cooking. You can see that it's an elastic dough, really nice to work with, very easy. If the cheese starts to cool down and the dough gets harder when you're rolling it out, because as we continue to roll it, it might gradually cool off and become noticeably stiffer and more difficult to work with, making the process a bit more challenging. You can always put it back in the microwave for a few seconds, about 20 or 30 seconds, and then roll it out again, no problem at all. So I rolled it out to this thickness here. I don't want it super thin because later we're going to fold the dough, and if it's too thin, it will break. So look, I took this circle here, which is a dough cutter. This piece will go back over there, and now we're going to fill it. You can use any filling you like. But since there's already chicken in our dough, I didn't want to overdo it with chicken, adding more chicken, more protein, so I decided to use a bit of tomato here. I removed the seeds from the tomato, just so it wouldn't get watery inside. So I'm not even going to add cheese or anything here because there's already cheese in the dough. But if you want, for example, to add cream cheese or whatever you like, you can put it in here, or even vegetables. I'm also going to add a bit of olive because I love olives. You really have to use your hands for this. It's easier that way. And I always like to carefully take the olives, gently slice them into thin pieces, and then soak them in a glass jar filled with clean filtered water, letting them sit for a while. Because through osmosis, the excess sodium, the salt from the olives transfers to the water. Then we discard that water, and the olives end up tasting even better and with less sodium. A great health tip. So look, I've put it in here. The issue with the filling is always a dilemma because we want to add a lot so it tastes good, but then when it's time to close it, look, this happens. So if necessary, you can always remove some of the filling. Since this particular filling isn't wet or runny, it's actually much easier for us to take some out if we need to, unlike when the filling is creamy and tends to stick together. So we press it down here until it sticks well, and then I'll add some decoration here. Look, I've finished sealing it, and just for decoration, I'm going to do this right here along the edge, just like we do with an empanada, carefully. Look, now you can see it better, like this, just to make it look nice. And then we'll bake it. The oven should be at 360 degrees, and you'll see the color this savory pastry turns out. I've already got my baking tray here, so I'm going to transfer it over, put it in the oven, and I'll repeat this process with the others now, but you don't need to see that because it's just the same. So I'll keep working on these, and I'll let you know later how many we end up with, and we'll go from there. I'm going to finish rolling them out here, and I'll be right back. Look, so I got 7 out of this batch, but of course, it will also depend on the size you make your empanadas. I'm going to put them in the oven now, like I mentioned, and in a little while I'll be back with them ready and I'll show you the texture. The dough gets an amazing color and I'll tell you how long it took. Hold on. It only takes 15 minutes to be ready because everything is already cooked, so you just need to wait for the cheese to melt and for them to get golden, and you can leave them more or less golden, depending on your preference. I'll show you what it looks like inside. Look, I'm going to grab one here to show you how it turned out inside. Check out the consistency of this dough. Look at this. Make this at home, you're going to love it. Look. It was really stuffed. Look how amazing. A real dough. Make it. You're going to love it. I lowered the baking tray here so I could grab one and try it. Tell me what filling you're going to use, your ideas. I'd love to see your comment. Remember to like the video because that really helps me out, and share it with anyone who would enjoy it or who needs it. Let's work together to spread this chain of kindness. That's what I want here on the channel. Let's taste it. You're going to love it. This delicious tomato and olive filling really complements the flavors of the cheese and chicken. It tastes just like pizza. In fact, I think if you add oregano, it'll be amazing. Tell me what filling you'll use. See you next time. Bye. It's so good.